I was born in Poland, in the city named Bialystok. The city of Bialystok was the population by 120,000. Half of it was Jewish. It was quite a few Jewish synagogues and Jewish life around. I went to a public school. When I went to public school, I learned everything in the Polish language. When I came home, it was everything Jewish. We did have a lot of anti-Semitism. Being in school, we were teased by all kind of things. It came before Easter time. It was horrible because they called us Christ killers. And under the Russian occupation, when you lived and obeyed, they didn't bother you. But when the German came in the second time, in 1941, what they did the first thing, they went and threw gasoline on the main temple. And whoever passed by or whoever they could catch, they threw in 2,000 live people in the burning synagogue. The fire got out of control, and we lived not far from that big synagogue. I felt smoke, I don't know why, and I turned around to my father and I said, I'm not going to be burned alive. We perceived we wanted to go to an aunt of mine, which lived several streets away. As we walked out, and being a youngster, I was only 14 years old, we had to walk over dead bodies. The German already killed. We were walking over corpse. It was already dark. During the night we ran away. And you know, a whole family, you couldn't take nothing with you. It's only the clothes what you had on your back. You ran, and my mother remembered she has a cousin, and we ran over there to her house. We stayed in my mother's house, in my mother's cousin's house for about a month. And it was very difficult because you had no money, you had nothing to exchange, and a family has to eat. After 4 weeks being in that place, they created a ghetto. What is a ghetto? They took a couple streets, and with barbed wire, with anything they could get it, they wired up and put us in like in a cage. People came from all over, but you had nothing to exchange, to get food. You couldn't work, you couldn't do nothing. It was not easy. We stayed in the ghetto, we tried to do the best we could. My older sister was doing some sewing because she was going to school being a dressmaker. So she did some repairs. My father was a mechanic, he tried to do something. We tried to work. They created shops. They confiscated from people who had sewing machines, and they created a shop. And I was working in a shop which it was making parts of German uniforms, cuffs, pockets, collars, all kind of things. For working a whole week, 40 hours, you got only one loaf of bread. You know, a family cannot exist on that alone. And we didn't have clothing. We had one pair of shoes. When my sister came from work, She exchanged with me. I put on the shoes and I went to work. And we did the best we could, anything just to survive. I used to go out because I was short, small. I smuggled through. My grandmother lived in a house near a running water. And over there was a lot of empty lot. Through where it was gated and things, I used to smuggle through. We digged underneath and go through on the other side. To go on the Aaron side, hopefully, maybe we can get something, buy something, or exchange something. On my small body, I carried in a lot of things. We tried whatever to survive. Many times I have seen things. Before I had to go out in the Aaron side, a boy tried to go out. He got a bullet in his head. We had to pull him in, and they took him away. He was dead. It didn't stop us from going outside. Then they decided in the ghetto to make an akci. What is an akci? They told us they were going to take so many people. We knew because we knew somebody in the Jewish Federation over there. And we went in hiding. What was in the hiding? We went in a basement. And the door, they were covered up with a china cabinet. They nailed it through. And we got in through the china cabinet. We slid down to the basement. It was around 40 of us in that basement. There were a couple children. You know, children cry at all kind of times. And especially when we heard over our heads German boots. Soldiers were walking in and looking in the houses where people were. Two of the children, they were smothered with little pillows to keep them quiet, not to hear that people are hiding in the basement. After a while, they got the amount of people they needed. Life resumed in the ghetto, the same what it was. Poverty, hunger, people were dying on the streets. They did awful, they were hanging people, showing us that if you won't behave, it's going to happen to you. We lived again around 6 months. August the 16th, 1943, they started again and they liquidated our city. The city was burning from all four corners. And I was with my aunt holding little Rachel. People were pushing each other and they tried to imagine around 60,000 people. They tried to push it out from the city, to get out of the city. Nobody knew where or what. And I was by then 16 years old. I was holding a year-old baby. I got tired. I couldn't walk. I have seen a buggy, a horse with a buggy, and I tried to hold on. I was sitting like just halfway and holding the baby for my life. They chased us out of the city. We came out in Pietraszów, the name was. Try visualize 60,000 people in a circle. They're all were standing, but people cannot stay 24 hours. So, at night when somebody would sit down, Germans came over and hit you with the rifles. And they did all kind of things. And the next morning, we did not know what's going on. They just came and said, one goes right, one goes left. And I was separated from my family. I have never seen them again.